This is Light and Bone Tarot, and thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. I haven't done a long video in a minute, so I'm very happy to be back doing this. Okay, this title of this video is Summertime Sadness. This will help. Definitely inspired by Lana Del Rey here. And I feel it. Like, summertime's so uplifting and exciting and warm and amazing, and then you can just hit this kind of like slump. So yeah, if you're feeling that, this reading will help. We have a set of crystal cards. I have these pictures with these little words on these amazing cards, and one of these will be your pile. So I am going to zoom in for you to take a look at these 4 cards, and I will just tell you in case you can't or in case you aren't able to see these very well. We have abundance, wisdom, truth, and focus. So whichever one of these pictures, captions speaks to you, it's your pile, and you'll jump to your timestamp below and you'll get your reading. And again, this is abundance, wisdom, truth, and focus. So yeah, just whatever jumps out at you that might, for whatever reason, bring you some relief or make you happier or something, we are here for it. It's your reading. Okay, I will see you soon. Thank you. Goodbye. Hello, this is Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. So excited. Never done a reading like this, but this is called Summertime Sadness. This will help. You picked abundance. We've got the wildflowers. Definitely makes me think of summer. And it is funny because although the wildflowers are so beautiful, so colorful, for me, there's this part of me that thinks like, oh, but they're not going to last forever. Like, oh my goodness, I love summer. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. And yet, you know, it's just another season that passes. So I just feel like there's definitely a real summertime sadness thing. And yeah, I want to see you right now. Let's just try to figure out your funk. Maybe it's got to do with a relationship, work, creative. I have no idea. Let's see. Okay, so you right now, we've got the Magician. We have 7 of Wands, like that. And we have 2 of Swords. I'll go with the 2 of Swords first, because there's definitely, it's a decision card. It's a contemplation. It's like, I hate to say it's that, like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't card, but it definitely, every time you read about it, it kind of has that, they call it the stalemate quality. So I do think, like, I don't know, like, what's your decision? And your decision, it might be about starting something new. It might be about, like, and with the 7 of Wands, just to back up what I was saying, this to me is a card of, like, you're standing your ground, you're fighting for what you believe in. So I would say this to me has to do with creative endeavors, with starting something, with like a business, a creative project. And, you know, maybe you left your job to do something. Maybe you are staying in your role, but like there's something else you really want to do. This to me is very much that, like, when are things going to start happening for me? And the Magician piece is, I do think that you've sat down and told yourself in a very good and productive way, like, I can do anything, this can happen. If I want to make this, I can do it. And the 7 of Wands backs that up. It's action. It's it's inspiration. It's absolutely putting your mind to something and following through. And it's fighting for that. Even when people told you, you know, that's not a great idea, or I really wouldn't recommend it, or, you know, your time's passed, or whatever, you said, I really don't care. Like, this is exactly what I want to do, and I'm doing it. I've got the tools, I've got the knowledge, whatever that is, like, you're doing it. And the 2 of Swords, for me, there is maybe this decision now that's in the back of your head that you have to make. And that decision is like, you know, should I stay or should I go? Should I move? Should I leave this job? Should I start this? Should I sell this for the money for the, like, whatever it is? I feel like these decisions they're tricky. And I'll say it feels like they're tricky because I have a feeling that you said to yourself, when summertime comes, I will have XYZ. I will have accomplished this. This will have happened. I'll be here. Things are going to start to look like this. I'm going to manifest this. Like, whatever it is, there might have been this timestamp you put on the summer, and now summer is here, and maybe things haven't happened at like the rate or the speed or exactly the way you wanted them to. And now you do have a decision to make. I mean, as specific as that sounds, you can really apply that to anything. You can apply that to like a relationship you've stayed in too long. You can apply that to a job that like you should have at least been sending your resume out to other places by now, or you should have considered, you know, other companies, other accounts, whatever. I think there's a lot you could apply that to, but this really, to me, less than that of a relationship vibe. It has that feeling of like you wanted to start something. Summer's here, you know, we've got the wildflowers, maybe they're still in bloom, but they're probably starting to wilt from the heat. You're starting to wilt, like, you know, it's, you need to now like start putting some things in gear. And I like the Seven of Wands here because it does remind me to remind you that you still feel strongly about this. This is still your thing. So don't give up. Like, don't be discouraged. And I do think you're fighting that discouragement, which is good. I think that's exactly what you need to be doing. So continue doing that. Continue fighting for this. But there might be a tricky decision that it might not feel like either outcome is good, but I guarantee whatever decision you make, it's the right decision, and it will, you know, garnish the right outcome, whatever that means. I don't know, but I believe that. So I stand by you doing this, whatever it is, because you really wanted it at one time. And I talk about it being a creative endeavor. It could be a relationship. It could be ending something or starting something, but there's such a like new beginning piece to this unknown that I see it in your headspace, your creative, that energy, that fire. You really, really want it. Okay, let me see you again a little bit. Okay, we have the Devil. That always makes me laugh when that happens. And the Seven of Pentacles. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that you're the devil. But when I see the Devil card, I think of vices. I think of setbacks. I think of, you know, addictions. I think of things that, just vices, for lack of a better term. And maybe with the Seven of Pentacles, maybe you know you should have been working harder at this. Maybe you know there's something you could have done to put a little more work in and you didn't. You gave into some kind of temptation. I think that's what I wanted to say before. There were other things tempting you and taking up your time. That's what I get of the Devil card, is this, you've been dealing with other temptations. And this could be time spent with like a partner or, I mean, a kid, even though that doesn't seem like anything bad about that. But let's say you've overindulged. I don't know. I don't have a kid, so this is going to sound like I don't have a kid. But like maybe you went to like one too many soccer games because you didn't want to go to that thing that you were going to do to work on this. Like, you know, there's been, things have been out of whack or out of balance. And I think that that's lended itself towards pulling you, or it's pulled you away from really starting whatever it is that you need to start, getting into like the meat and bones of the thing you need to do so that you can actually say, yeah, summer came and went and I achieved my goals. I checked those boxes. It's fall now and I have a whole new set of goals. And I really, like, I don't know if all these piles are going to have to do with this kind of a reading. Like, they might all be relationship after this, but I really do feel like you have this goal that you want to achieve. You've told yourself you're going to, and you know, we like, summer is new. It just started, for the most part. It goes by quickly though. Geez, like I don't know, maybe we're almost a third of the way in, but, where am I going with that? You still have time is my point. So don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Here's what we need from you. Spirit's going to give you some gifts to not get discouraged. So let's get some gifts from Spirit. We've got Judgment. Ooh, Strength. I mean, lots of majors. Lots of majors. And the High Priestess. Yeah, 3, 4 majors. 5 majors on the table. Okay. How do we translate these? So I think if we're asking Spirit, that's my dog scratching her ear. Okay, if we are asking Spirit for her input and how you can not get discouraged, Well, the Judgment card, I always say this is you, like how you would treat yourself with judgment. So this is you easing up on yourself a little bit, not being so hard on yourself. So take that piece out of the equation, like, because if you every day say like, oh my God, I was supposed to be here by now, I was supposed to have been at like achieved this, made this, it's just going to make you want to spend the rest of the day saying like, it's like that diet starts tomorrow mantra, although it's every day you say this, and then really the diet never starts, and then whatever your worst case scenario was inevitably plays out. So let's not have you be too hard on yourself. For strength, something about this, with this, I feel like maybe there is someone you could ask for help. There might be a pride issue here. Maybe it is you leaning on someone else ever so gently, asking for something. There's a piece here that does have to do with pride, and I guess I get that from like the Leo, the lion, but it does remind me that like, I don't know, maybe initially you thought you were going to do this with someone else and now you're doing it alone and you like want to prove that you can do it on your own. But this doesn't mean that you're like looping someone into the mix completely in like the form of a business partner, but it could mean that like maybe you accept some startup money. Maybe you like allow a friend to put a good word in for you somewhere, or, you know, maybe you do start sending out your resume, because no one's like, you know, banging down, flooding your inbox with job offers. I don't know, but there's a piece here of like pride. And again, this is advice from spirit. So, you know, this is supposed to make you feel good. The High Priestess, I just think this is like a bad bitch energy. I think this is her saying really like, you have so much strength. You have so much, there's so much to you. You have so much wisdom and knowledge. There's a wild, you know, my plant's in the way, but there's a wise old owl here kind of peeking through the plants. And I do think this is like, you've really got, along with the Magician, you've got the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the, everything you need, it's there. And we've got the eye in the hand. There's something very like almost mystical about this too. And you know what? Something about this makes me think of like divine timing, and maybe there's a reason it's taken this long for things to unfold the way they have. Maybe this is the plan all along, and you know, you can't fight it. It's been kind of how this whole thing was destined to unravel for you. So whatever that means, don't get too caught up in the time frame or what has or hasn't happened. And yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. And whatever you need to do, just moving forward, focus on what works best for you. And I think, yeah, something here about just leaning into the fact that it's okay that you are where you are right now at this point. It doesn't mean that you can't do everything and more that you wanted to do or achieve. So I like this. And you know, the thing about this spread, if this is like speaking to you at all, it's very real. It can apply. I can absolutely apply this to my situation. I can apply it to friend situations. Like, it's just, I don't think it's groundbreaking. I don't think there isn't anything here that you don't already know, but it's like here to tell you that the things you really want to achieve, you absolutely can. And don't get caught up on the fact that it's, you know, summer is this middle marking of the year, and it's, you know, I don't know, there is something about summer, I think, that makes us like overanalyze things, much in the same way that we do in the beginning of the year. I think it kind of has that same feeling, that same vibe where you're like just really thinking everything to death. So I'm gonna get, these cards are, maybe they're silly, but they are fun. And this is gonna be like more input from spirit, but just I think in a way for you to like enjoy yourself, or maybe there's something you need to do that's gonna help, you know, but let's see. Okay, so we've got beauty ritual and clean your space. So, and there's a similarity in these cards, which I do think could track for you. The beauty ritual to me is maybe you have been slipping on yourself. Maybe you have been actually more stressed than you realize, more consumed with this, more like torn and or like divided. And maybe you have let things go. So I think this to me is like everything from taking the time to obviously like paint your nails, but it's like also I don't know, like shaving, clipping your toenails, flossing your teeth, making your dental appointments. Like there's just all those little things you do to take care of yourself. And I think if you've let this go or slide, or you've been so busy and consumed doing other things, it might be hard to put some of these other like big building blocks into motion. But if you maybe start taking care of these things, it'll just, you won't have one more excuse to be like, oh, I'll start this after I make that, I don't know, dentist appointment or whatever. Like I literally just thought yesterday that I needed to make a dentist appointment. So that is on my mind. But to that point, I do think about that a lot. And if I sit down and think like, oh, I've got to get to work on this, it is one of the first things that pops in my head. And then it just becomes a distraction and I still haven't made the appointment. So I can apply this to a lot of things. And it's the same with cleaning your house and your space. Maybe just clean everything, do all those 15 loads of laundry or like the little pile of whites that's been at the bottom of your laundry bin. Like do all these things, get them out of the way so you don't have to think about them, so you can really start like digging into some of these like more meatier things. And I just think that's going to help you. And I will probably end the reading here because I always feel like when I get the clear message, it's fine to end the reading. And if it's love or relationships, I can go on and on, but this is my message. And it always takes the end of the readings to get to these messages, but maybe the whole point of this is like, look, do those little things so that you can get this big thing started, because it doesn't matter when you start it. It's going to be the right time to start it whenever that is. So just make sure you make the effort to do it. And once you do it, I really think you're going to see this momentum. I really think things are going to start happening. Maybe there's a big decision you have to make going into this, but you knew at some point that this was the right thing for you. I see that with the Magician. You didn't doubt it. And and again, with the Devil card, maybe this is like the bad little devil on your shoulder that's like pulling you in the other direction, that's pulling you away from starting this because it's so big, it's so overwhelming, it's so consuming. Maybe you thought you were going to come here for a love reading. I honestly thought these would all be about love, but this was what I saw in the cards. And the abundance thing, like you can always tell yourself by next summer, you're going to be wildly abundant. I mean, that's a year from now, and maybe you want to say by like fall, you'll be wildly abundant. But like realistically speaking, if this is something that you haven't technically like fully started yet, just say like next summer, you're going to be there. The wildflowers will have a really exciting meaning for you. So I would love to hear in your comments if this tracks, if it inspires you to, get started or whatever this means to you. But thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to reading for you again. Goodbye, Light and Bone Tarot, and you are letting me read for you. Thank you so much. We are doing a reading for summertime sadness. This will help. I think I spoke a lot on the last one about summertime sadness, and it just, I don't know, it's a real thing. And I think it's a real thing because we always say like, I don't know, like summer's just this magical time. Everything's going to be great when it's summer. The sun makes us happy. Everything's perfect. And then summer comes and it goes and it feels like it's going too quickly. And I don't know, there's all these things that I feel like can just give you pause and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed or I'm sad, I'm out of it, or I don't know. And I think all these relationships that we like think are going to be everything in the summer. Sometimes you don't meet anyone in the summer, or you like don't feel like committing, or vice versa. So summer can be stressful, even though it's really amazing. So, okay, you picked wisdom. I don't know the vibe I'm getting off this card, but I do know that when I think of this, I think of just all these layers. Anything that has to do with under the sea, there's this feeling of abundance, of unknown, and I don't know if you do have what it takes to go down to those depths, like this mermaid apparently, and all these fish, then I think you've got, there's something there for you. Okay, let's see. Let me just see you in a few cards and we'll figure out at least what your general genre of sadness is right now and how we can help. Okay, how spirit can help. Okay, let me see you in 3 cards right now. So we've got the universe, which is the world, which is great. The magician. This is another major. And the moon. This is so bizarre. Okay, so you in 3 cards and they're all major. there is something powerful about this, and I'm really trying to take it in. I love the universe card, which is the world card. It speaks to me of like endless potential. I don't know, there's this karmic piece to it. It's just this whole, like, everything, everything happens for a reason within reason. Obviously, some things happen for no reason whatsoever. But it just makes you think that, I guess, regarding the decisions you've made in your world, a lot of things tend to happen based on the decisions you've made or the paths you've taken or whatever, good, bad, otherwise. I don't know, there's a karmic piece to it. Let me just put it that way. And whenever I start talking about anything to do with karma, I always want to like insert my foot in my mouth because I'm like, I don't understand why things happen. So anyway, but the Magician and the Moon, there's mystery here. There's definitely that little bit of like melancholy and sadness, but there's so much hope in the Magician. There's so much power. There's so much capability. And I think the universe, like just this kind of wanting it all. There is this feeling here with these three major cards of you might have put a timestamp on summer for wanting. There's something, you wanted it all, and you wanted it all by summer, whatever that is. And it could very well be something to do with like a relationship. But I feel like there's in some way you wanted to be like settled, and you thought that when summer came, this would be your happy time. Like whatever was bothering you in spring or in like winter, you wouldn't be bothered by it in summer. And maybe you still aren't. Maybe it's starting to come back. Maybe, the fact that you still aren't in a committed relationship, or the fact that you still don't have the place to live that you wanted, or a certain amount of like success, whatever it is, it's like summer is here. It's slowly going away or quickly going away, which, we have fall, and that's great. Fall comes after summer, and that's exciting. But there is that point, I think, of melancholy that kind of hits to me. I think it hits like mid-July. So, or August, I don't know. But anyway, I do think you had summer as a marker that you're not seeing yet. So let's get a little bit more about what did you want, and why did you want it so bad? I want to see a little bit more about like what your expectation of summer was. So 2 of Cups, it does absolutely make me think of romance. Oh yeah, 10 of Cups and home. 8 of Cups, jeez Louise. Okay. Many different messages and, stories I could tell based on these 3 cards, but these cards, I really think there was something here about love, about a relationship that quite possibly hasn't come into fruition yet. The 10 of Cups is like that ultimate familial bliss card. It's that feeling of like, it's rainbows, it's everything you wanted. It's like happiness on so many different levels. And I go to the Rider-Waite-Smith card where it's like, a couple holding hands under a rainbow, like waving to their kids in the yard, and there's a dog, it's just it's the ultimate idyllic life. 2 of Cups, there is that definitely romance. I mean, we have 2 hearts beating. They're connected by a string of diamonds or something. Like there's just absolutely this sense of like, I really think by summer, and there's different ways we can spin this because we have the 8 of Cups here, which is a card of like walking away. So I think by summer, you either hoped that someone would commit or someone would show you a level of something, and maybe now you're sad because you feel like you have to walk away, or maybe I don't know, or maybe a relationship is dissolving or ending for you, and by summer you thought maybe it would get stronger, kind of what I just said. But there is something to do with like a loss here over emotions, and I just get the feeling that this romantic piece, this dream. And I think it was bigger than just like, oh, I just want to meet someone. I just want a summer crush or something. I think you really wanted something like very significant. And I get the feeling it's out of someone that you liked. I think this person, and you had like very, I don't want to say lofty, but like intense and serious hopes that come summer, this would really materialize. And I just don't think it has. And either this person has just left, or you feel like they're going to leave, or you're like about to walk away from the situation. But there's definitely I feel like this impending departure of someone, whether it's yourself or someone else. So where does wisdom come into this? is interesting because, you know, I'm just off the cuff here. Bear with me. But to me, wisdom is like pertaining to this whole love situation we have here. And I see these 3 major cards, which makes me think that there's a lot of depth to you. There's a lot to you. You have, you know, not only like mystery and intrigue, but like with the Magician, I see this capability, this like genuine talent. There's a skill, like there's just something very, very strong and capable and kind of magical and beautiful about you. And I think with Summer and Sadness and Wisdom, I think you've known, dare I say, like all along or for whatever amount of time that when Summer comes, this relationship isn't actually going to turn into a proposal and a honeymoon. It's going to turn into like, I feel like you've known all along that it's going to dissolve in the summer. And I hate saying that, and I don't know why I get these little messages. I don't know if it's just, I have no idea. Like it could be from movies, it could be from conversations with friends or my own life, but like I do sometimes get these very strong messages where I'm like, that's what I think is making you sad, is you've played the game that like when summer comes, things are going to click and everything's going to be great and magical. But now that you're here, the real vibe, which you've always suspected, is that this is going to be your time to either walk away or let someone walk away, or you know that this person is going to walk away, because I don't think this situation is like where your situation or your love lies. And I will say there's so much here for you, because these top cards, which are you, and they're the 3 major cards, they're so strong. And again, I'll just go back to saying they're so capable. You can do anything. This has just become noise or static in your world, and it really isn't even suiting you anymore. Like I want to wipe these off the deck, because although they aren't bad cards, the message they carry it's stupid, because basically it's saying that like you wanted this and now it's not going to work, but it's just, for the sake of this reading, not going to work with this person, which you've known. That's been your wisdom piece, and that's why. So I would say, if we're going to spin this, be happy that summer's here, because you've been putting this off for too long. You've been wanting something that maybe you know isn't going to come into fruition. Summer's here. Let it dissolve. Just let it freaking dissolve. You've always known it was going to. And a part of you probably even wants it to, believe it or not. And you have so much here that I think you're going to see this in a short amount of time. So let's just get some like uplifting cards to undo the fact that like this is, I don't want this to be representative any longer of what's not going to happen. I want to see your close future in an exciting way to make this take on a whole new spin. And I can apply this now. I can say like, okay, look, I'm getting a message that you're going to get this with someone else. That might not excite you right now. It might be more than you want to hear or deal with, but like all the same, there's going to be a positive message here. So let's get a positive input from Spirit, something positive. Okay, 3 of Wands, great. 9 of Pentacles, love that. And, okay, Spirit of Pentacles. So, this is really good, okay. The 3 of Wands, sure, it's action, it's fire, it's doing something, but I really think, to me, this is like, you are going to be moving on from this waiting, this holding period you're in. You're not going to, take off like gangbusters. It might be slow, but things every day are going to get better, and things are going to be so much better for it. And this 3 of Wands is like, I think you're starting to pick your course. You're looking out onto the horizon. You're thinking like, how do I want to go about this? How do I want to do this? I am no longer going to wait on this here. So moving forward, how does this look? And it's almost like you scanning with your eyes, your hand over your eyes, kind of like looking out and being like, what does the future hold for me? And this is the sun in the background. It's kind of this like illuminated excitement. The sun, the sun is what's waiting for you. There is this big ball of energy and heat and beauty and light. So like, just know there's a lot of goodness out there, and you will be moving towards it. And again, you've known this. I think as much as you've known that maybe this summer is going to bring the sadness of like letting this thing dissolve, you also know that there's a piece after this that's going to be pretty intense and amazing, and that's great. 9 of Pentacles, I think I think you're successful. I think you're strong. I think you do fine for yourself. I think you've got the money and the resources and the charisma and the confidence to do whatever you want. I don't think you're sitting at home thinking like, oh, I don't have the person I want in my life. I don't have the friends. I don't have the job. I don't have, like, no, you might only have one thing that you don't have right now, and it might be this person. But honestly, I think you know that this person doesn't even serve you or suit you. And I think everything else you have, I think you have the friends, you have the job, you have the savings, you have that, like, you're financially stable. I think you've got all the things you want in so many other departments. So you really, like, this is actually a very positive reading. If we want to take it that way, it really is, because it tells me you're going to be given this gift of like, you don't have to say anymore, next summer, I'm going to be in this relationship because in pertaining to this person, you don't have to keep pushing out this deadline. You can just say, okay, this is it. I'm walking away. Summer's here and I'm done. Like, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Guess what? I knew it wasn't going to, but I wasn't ready to deal with it before. So here we go. This might be what's bumming you out. This might be your summertime sadness. And you can easily turn this into summertime achievement. Okay, so Spirit of Pentacles is the King of Pentacles. And this is such the card of just stability of home. This is you. You are the King of Pentacles. You're your own king, your own queen, you are your own master. Like, there's really no one else that you need to bring you this like external anything. You don't need the money from anyone else. You don't need the home from anyone else. You don't need the support. I think it's great. I think you've got friends. I think you have outlets and you can tap into it. But I just see you like independently being very, very strong and capable. And even to that point, of course you are, because anyone who would put this kind of like, knowing that the difficult thing you have to do and knowing that you've got to tackle this, that is very much a King of Pentacles move. That is so totally you taking care of your own shit, your own house, your own health, your own everything. And it trickles down to like every part of your world. And yeah, I think you've absolutely, I mean, not only do you have this, but you're stronger this summer than ever before. There's something about this summer that is, I don't know, like you've learned a lot over the last year, you've experienced a lot, you've been through a lot, you've seen a lot of changes, a lot of good, possibly some bad or icky, but definitely a lot of good, like an overwhelming amount of good, I think. And that's why I think you really do have the strength to do this. So you're going to do it, whatever that means. Okay, these are going to be two fun cards, like action cards of, I don't know, I say input from spirit, but also like what might help you on this. What if there's something that you should be doing that you don't know you should be doing, or we'll see what these cards pull over. So let's see what we get out of here. Nourish your temple. Got it. And connect with crystals. Okay, so nourish your temple. There's such a like self-love piece to this, and I don't know why I get out of this. There's something about this where I'm like, I don't know. There's like, I really don't know why I'm going to say this, because I say things that I just got like a quick flash of information on. But there's something about like, there's like an abstinence piece to this card that I don't know why it brought me there. And I don't know if I got that from like, it said self-love and then I like went down for a second that rabbit hole. But there's something here about like, if you are seeking like a physical, I don't know if it's like validation or like, oh my God, what's the word? I don't know, like something where you were giving yourself over physically in certain ways, maybe to like continue something, or if that was the focus when it shouldn't have been. I feel like there's a part here that's like, look, maybe take a step back from that and just really give yourself everything you need from yourself. Like, you know, treat yourself to massages, put the best food in your body. I don't know, buy fancy lotion that smells good, or like just really, really taking care of yourself as your own little pristine temple. But there is like that, if you cannot let others enjoy your body the way you have been, possibly there's a message there, but that's really random. connect with crystals. I think this always, to me, you could just put like connect with spirit, and yeah, this is tarot readings. This is whatever kind of like metaphysical or like woo-woo thing you want to incorporate, do it, because really I think it's just about what makes you feel better. And like maybe this reading isn't totally on track at all. Maybe there's one small piece of it that resonated with you and the rest didn't. But let's say you still got something out of it, whatever that was, then there's something to it. Then it actually was a reading you were supposed to find, and it actually is meant for you then. It doesn't mean every piece of any tarot reading or anything like that has to track completely, but if you get something out of it and it helps you in any way, then great. It was intended for you and it was meant for you and you found it for a reason. So I think that's what, to me, that's what connecting with crystals is like tap into that, your inner spirit, your inner, your spirit guides, whatever that means to you. It could just be whether you're good at meditating or not, like it could be trying to meditate, it could be like having some kind of like daydream cycle that you go into, like whatever it is that's going to bring you like a little bit of like respite, happiness, whatever, go there. So I don't know, these were my own little tangents, but again, if they resonate, great. But yeah, this is my message for your summertime sadness. This will help. I hope it helps. I hope you're happy and you feel better. I'd love a comment from you, subscribe, like, if any of this tracks, I'd love to hear it. So thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye. Bone Tarot, thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. We are doing a reading for summertime sadness. This will help. I feel like the last reading was pretty heavy. I don't know what's going to help about that last reading, but yeah, we'll see where this reading goes. And I picked 4 cards. You picked Truth with a tree, and there is something very, I don't know if melancholy is the right word, but there's something like chaotic about this card. Like it doesn't make me necessarily, it's beautiful, so it makes me happy in some ways, but like it implies this, I don't know, there's something about it that I can't quite put my finger on, but oh my God, I just noticed like a face in the clouds. That is so weird. I have no idea if that's, I think that's someone blowing on the tree. Weird. Okay. It's weird when you don't see something and now it's like all you see. Okay, let me see your situation right now in 3 tarot cards, and then we'll go from there and see, I don't know, what's bringing you down and how this can help. So, okay, the Hermit, the Tower, and 5 of Wands. Okay. I always like the Hermit card because, I don't know, I just feel like everyone has a little hermit in them. Some people associate it with it more than others, but there's something very like calming and like intuitive about the Hermit. I like this. I would say, I mean, if this is you in 3 cards, I do think you're pretty possibly withdrawn at the moment. And the Tower card, so I think there was an event. I think something happened that was pretty big for you. I don't know that if it was earth-shattering, I don't know if it was heartbreaking, but it was something that made you have to like actually take a step back and say like, okay, I'm going to really have to think about this, or I'm going to have to stop doing what I was doing and I'm not sure how to stop doing that, so I'm gonna like just stop going out, or you've really, I think socially, you've kind of, but I think you needed to do this, which is fine, because I think we all need to do this at times, and some of us do a lot more of this than others, so I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but I think it's so much so that friends might be like, oh wow, you really like, you haven't, I don't know, you haven't been going out a lot, you've been really, maybe they think you've been antisocial, maybe people have told you you're like introverted this summer. I'm not sure, but I do think there's a part of you that's like definitely pulled back a little bit, and I do think it's because something happened. I don't know if it's something that anyone else would know about. So this Tower event, I'm not saying that like what happened was big in the sense that like your house burnt down and the whole neighborhood saw, or there was a tragic event for the world to see. I don't necessarily know that it's it. In fact, I think it was something a little bit more internal, like maybe you had like an internal battle. Maybe there was a conversation you had with someone and a decision had to be made. Like, I just feel like something happened that really made you stop and look. And it did. I think it left you conflicted. I think it's left you really trying to figure out where you're going and what you're doing. And I honestly think that the whole reason this is bumming you out is because you're like, why did this have to happen in the summer? Why am I going through this in the summer? Because it really, I think, and I guess that it really does go with this truth card. Like, you've been shown something where you are seeing the truth. You're really analyzing something. You're figuring things out for yourself. You're searching for your own truth. You're asking for it at night when you lay down. Like, you're just, you're really searching, you're digging, and it is causing you to pull back and think about things. And I just think that's the sadness piece. It's not that you don't like doing this, because I don't think there's anything wrong in doing this. I think it's very actually healthy and important. And there's also something very spiritual about this as well, which is a big part of the Hermit card. And I think even with the Tower, it's like that rebirth, that regeneration, that reemergence, whatever it is, there's like this freshness and this newness, and that is also cathartic and spiritual and kind of amazing. But I just think it's like, why did it have to happen in the summer? Couldn't this have happened in winter when you're already in this like funk on the couch, or you're already curled up with a blanket thinking like, why does it have to be now? And I just think it's funny that like, even this card, the more I look at it, it's like this beautiful tree, it's green, it definitely looks like summer, and yet it also looks like winter at the same time. And it's like, it's just that like, does this wind really have to be here? Does this tree have to look so, battered and windblown? Like, it's the summer. Do the clouds really have to be in the sky? Like, you could turn this into such a beautiful picture of like a tree you'd want to picnic under so easily, but there's just a few things that are like dragging that down. And I do think that maybe you've been exposed to something that there was like a truth that you saw that you didn't like, or you realize there's something you really have to deal with or address or face or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, why now? So that's what I think it is. And I actually think though you're handling this, I don't see this as like, oh, this is so awful for you. I think you're fine. It's just, it's heavy and it's a lot. And why does it have to happen right now? But you're going to be fine. And I like that you're taking time. I like that you addressed that it was such a big thing. And even the fact that you're a little conflicted, whatever that means, or like however that's applied to you, I think all these are very good, healthy feelings. And I think they really like work towards like healing and growth and like, all those good things. So I want to see what your near future looks like, because this is a question I haven't asked anyone else. Oh my goodness, look at all these majors. Okay, we've got the Fool, we've got the Innocence of Wands, and the Universe. So, sorry, I've stopped talking about it, but anyway, so many majors. Okay, so the Universe, the Innocence of Wands, and the Fool. Your near future, well, I do think you're going to come out of your shell, but I think you're going to come out of this kind of hiding. You're going to have this, I will say like reemergence. There's going to be, and I think with that, you're going to come out like trying new things. There's going to be a different part of you that's like, I just think you're going to be doing things differently. I really do. And that's part of the Fool card. Like, you're going to approach something differently. You're going to think differently. You're going to make mistakes doing things differently, but like in a very good, healthy, exciting way. There's something exciting about this. There's something that makes me think your near future there's just adventure and there's excitement. So you will get out of this little bit of funk, a little bit of like self-induced funk, let's put it that way. That is going to pass. And I really do think it's going to pass before summer is over. You're going to get to enjoy the summer. And I see this with the Innocence of Wands, which is basically the Page of Wands. And this time that you're taking now is giving you that you are able to like meditate on what you want. You really are thinking, and I think you are thinking, really, what do I want? How do I want to move forward? What looks good? What feels good? I just think there's a lot of like, what do you want? And the Fool coming out and doing exactly what you want that you've figured out in this time is what's in store for you. And I see this with like the passion here, something about making mistakes, but in a very fun way. Like, like in the way you get lost on a trail, but it turns out to be like the best hike of your life kind of thing, that kind of fun mistake. Or I don't know, putting the wrong ingredient in a cookie and then it turns out being the best cookie you ever made. Like that kind of mistake where it's just an adventure and it's exciting. And I just think you're gonna, I don't know, I think you're gonna have the people and the support, and I think you have a lot of fun coming up. So and again, I haven't spoken to the universe card, but it came up in another reading. There's such this like full circle. Things are gonna come full circle for you, and karmically in a very good way. This isn't like, the karmic piece to this is like, I think the thought and the energy and the time you put into like crafting whatever it is that you want, it's going to pay off. I think you really put like intention, and you just gave this space. You really reserved like space and calm for your future. And you did, yeah. And I like this. And this is like the truth piece to this is like, you are taking the time that no one asked for this to happen during the summer, but we've addressed obviously that this is happening for you now. And it is hard on you now. I think you're being pulled in mentally different directions. But once you come out of this, not only are you going to like kind of come out swinging, but you're really going to know what you want. I think you're going to be very much on a path of like, this is what I want. This is where I'm headed. I want to feel this way. I want to experience this. And I have no idea what to apply this to. I couldn't say if it's love, career, travel, relationships, where you're going to live, who you're going to do whatever you do with. Like, I have no idea what part of your life, but there's something that this whole event and this whole thing that you're meditating on is, it has whatever that is. This is what you have to look forward to, and like very much opposite of what you've been going through. So, and I don't think you've been depressed by any means. I don't think that what's been happening to you, is something at the end of the day that you would even change or take back. It's just been heavy, and good for you for going through it, because I don't think everyone would have. I think some people would have just gone out more, partied more, drank more, hooked up more, like whatever it is. Like, I just think you instead chose to do less and think on it more. And it's definitely going to pay off for you, because something's going to come of this that's very revealing and very insightful and very like real and I guess exciting. I mean, not I guess, but absolutely exciting. So, okay, let's get some input from Spirit. Yeah, let's get I don't know, there's a message here from Spirit. Let's see what it is. 6 of Wands, the Hanged Man, and I put this here because if I put it down, you can't see. Every reading I've done has had so many of these major cards come up. I've never had one subject matter produce so many major cards. It's very bizarre. Okay, so if we're looking at this as input from Spirit, I think she's definitely reaffirming that you taking the time was healthy. So if there's a part of you that's like, I've missed out on this, have I taken too much time? Was this the wrong move? No, you really needed to sit with it. And she's, I think, commending you and rewarding you for this. And I also think there's a message here about like the mysteries, the unknown. This is that journey you're on right now. You're supposed to be, I think, all the good and all the adventure and all the amazing stuff that's going to come out of this, like in the Fool in the universe. This is this time you've put into this thought, this mystery, this unknown, this you absolutely needed to go through this. And it's almost like you're going to get rewarded in a way, which is a weird thing to say, but I see this in the 6 of Wands. Like, this is not for naught, right? This happened for you. This happened for a reason. This is something that you like honored, you respected, you handled the situation like with ease or with grace. And I think you're going to be rewarded for this. And whatever reward that is, I think we're going to see it come through in these 3 cards. And these are 3 beautiful cards, like the Fool, the Universe, and the Innocence of Wands. There's so much here about like inspiration, growth, happiness, fulfillment. Like, there's so much here about like these fresh and exciting starts and seeing things like really, really start to like just roll and happen for you. So I don't know, there's just a message here that like, keep on, because you are completely on the right path. And yeah, this little summertime slump or sadness or I don't know, funk, whatever, you've been having to deal with and what you've been sitting on. I don't think it's going to be all summer. I think you soon have some relief coming your way. But yeah, you've done a lot. There's just been a lot of growth from you, and from the cards, it's absolutely impressive, and it's something people are going to see, and they're really going to recognize it. And the Six of Wands card makes me think like there will come a time in your very near future where this will absolutely prove to you that this was for something. So, okay, let's get 2 fun cards about things you can do or should do, or I don't know, plan a vacation. I don't know if I said anything, but that totally makes sense. Okay, we've got 2 cards here. I meant to pick up one. We've got sex and we've got nourish your temple. So I'm going to say, taking these 3 cards, I only meant to pull 2, but then I saw the sex card come up, which someone told me this card was in the deck. I've never actually seen it come up, and I've used these cards quite a bit, so it's kind of exciting that it did come up for you. I do think you've got something, there is excitement coming your way, and to me this is like, look, everything you've missed out on, which is probably all these things, travel, excitement, sex, nourishing your temple, doing what you want, going out for massages, getting your hair cut, taking care of yourself, focusing on your looks, like whatever it is, you put that on pause. I really think you've got these things to look forward to. And some of these might feel more trivial, and I think you've been on a kind of a journey and a path that is like the opposite of trivial, but you have, it's just a heads up, like you will be, you have exciting things coming up. And I think that's really, truly a message here. Like, you will come out of this when you're ready. That's another thing with the Hangman. Like, you'll know when it's time to like recalibrate and to kind of come back into the world and to enjoy summer. But when that time comes, you will have all these fun things happening for you. And I could have sworn I said something else about a trip. I think I said this with the Fool, like maybe there's a journey or an adventure. I do feel like there's a sense of adventure and excitement that comes to you, and something about planning a trip or a vacation might really be like a very healthy and positive and exciting thing for you. And I've said the word exciting a lot in this reading. I don't think I said it once in the last 2 readings. So there's something in that word and in what that means to you, which should make you feel like a way. I don't know what that means, but there's like, in other words, I haven't said, oh, I see, like, you're going to feel something that would mean, oh my God. Like, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? I'm not, like, I don't get this overwhelming feeling that any one thing is going to make you excited. In other words, like, I'm not saying, oh, you've got a relationship coming or you've got money coming, but I am saying there is something coming that will truly like ignite you. Whatever that is, I don't know, but I haven't gotten this vibe on the last 2 readings, which is what I want to stress. And I think that's because you've been through something where you've put a pause on all things exciting and rewarding, and you are going to experience that. So if you're still here watching this, listening to this, thank you very much. I would love any comment or feedback, like, subscribe, whatever feels good. And yeah, it would mean everything. And I would just love the feedback if this tracks. So wish you the best. Have a great summer. And thank you so much. Goodbye. Tarot, thank you so much for listening and letting me read for you. We are doing a reading for summertime sadness. This will help. And, you know, in the last 3 readings, your pile 4, I hope it helped. Yes, I hope this helps. I was going to talk about the last 3 readings, and then I realized that's really not necessary. But, okay, pile 4, focus. Love this picture. No idea what it means for you yet, but I will absolutely find a meaning for this because something about this spoke to you. And yeah, there is this, if I go off this card and I think like where you've been and where you're headed right now, maybe you have been buried with, you know, obviously under some kind of grueling demand or focus, and maybe you've been wondering like why does this have to happen in the summer, the time when things should be so easy and breezy and light and carefree, like why now? But I don't know, that almost seems too obvious. So let's let's get into it with some tarot and really see, I want to see you right now in 3 cards, and yeah, let's get an idea of where you're at. Okay, we've got Heart of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, and the Universe. Okay, so Heart of Cups is the Queen of Cups, which is a very lovely card to make me think that emotionally you're stable. I mean, the Queen of Cups can also be emotionally unstable, but in the vibe I'm getting right now is like, let's just say you're in touch with your emotions. I think you've definitely been in your feels a little bit this summer, but I do think that you're going through your emotions, so you're in touch with them. 9 of Pentacles, I think I just have to see this for what it is. To me, it's someone who's also financially quite stable. I think from a work standpoint, or from like at least from finances, you're doing good. You're all right. I don't think this is your problem. The Universe also very solid. So I'm gonna say, I wouldn't be able to determine off these 3 cards why you're here or what's bumming you out, because these look very, very solid and positive to me. So much so that I'm like, okay, I have to turn over another line to figure out what would be bumming you out right now. What's this little bit of sadness that you're getting? Because it's here, it's real, and I can almost glimpse it, but I really need to find out like what this is, because these are 3 cards to tell me you're doing quite well. And the Universe card, we can determine, it can be read so many different ways, as in like, you want it all, you're going after it, things are clicking for you, you're at a time where you're finally seeing like things that you've worked so hard on pay off. Like it seems a little bit like you're killing it right now. So I need 3 more cards to see you and to kind of understand why you're here. Ace of Wands, 3 of Swords, okay. 5 of Cups. So in almost stark contrast to this, we do have some heavy cards here. And this is interesting because like, I mean, the 3 of Swords to me is heartbreak. There's heartbreak. Generally, I think of it as like from a romantic place. It might not be, however, but there's something to do with like heart hurting. And the next word I was going to say is loss, and we have 5 of Cups, and this is very much a card of loss and a card of a heart that hurts. I don't want to say broken heart, because that totally makes me think of like a relationship. But if I say broken heart, I mean your heart has been hurt. There's been a loss there. And the Ace of Wands to me it is kind of like a fresh start. It's new inspiration. It's new beginnings. It's new actions. And so, and with the Focus card, you know, it's weird. I don't get a romantic vibe off of this card for some reason. However, if I were to take this to a romantic place, I think what you've gone through, I don't think this is like a new romance. I think it just feels like there's something established here. It feels like if your heart is hurting, or if you're going through something in that way, you've lost something that you've had for a while, a person. And I don't want to make this too heavy, because I definitely don't want, this is supposed, you know, the summertime sadness aspect is supposed to be pretty lighthearted. So I'm not going to go into like a heavy reading off of like loss or heartbreak here. So I'm going to spin it a little bit, but I'm going to say some things made you sad, and some things genuinely hurt your heart. And I'll just leave it at that. And I will say, I think things are actually going very, very good for you. And maybe for you, this summertime sadness and this Focus card, maybe you've been pulled in a couple different directions. Like you aren't sure where to focus, and I think with these different directions, and this is a tricky reading, so bear with me, because there's the message is here, and I will get more into it, and I'll continue to pull cards, but I almost feel like things are going so good for you that it's easy for you to forget something that maybe you want to give attention to, or you want to give time to, or or things are going so good and it's summer that you really don't want to lean into this one thing that might need attention from you, or that it's almost like there's something you know you have to deal with, but you don't want to deal with it in the summer and you're going to put it off till fall. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It might not be a bad thing. It might be exactly what you need to do. And if that's the case, then you should stop beating yourself up over it and just, as best you can, enjoy your summer, because it looks like you have a lot here going on in your world that you can absolutely enjoy. I think you have the finances to take trips or vacation. I think you have friends. I think you have things like clicking for you and working. You may very well be in a very healthy relationship right now. I can absolutely see that in the cards. So whatever this thing is that you need to deal with, I think the message here is like, look, maybe you don't need to put too much focus on this. Don't beat yourself up over the fact that you don't want to deal with it this summer. Maybe you don't have to deal with it this summer. Maybe you can deal with it in the fall. Maybe you can push this out. There is something about that. And it's funny when I see, it's not funny, but when I look at this card and I see the snow falling, and it's like maybe this thing you can give your attention to in the winter or in the fall or the winter. And that is kind of the message for this reading. I'm going to ask for some more cards and input, but I really think that's it. And this could be pushing off anything. It can be something heavy or dark or all-consuming that you are pushing out for all the right reasons. And you know what? If you don't want to deal with something, then or mentally go through it right now, but you probably don't have to. And why should you? And maybe there is something inside of you that knows fall or winter is the right time, but you're just giving yourself, you're allowing yourself to feel a way about the fact that you're not addressing it right now. I don't know. That is the message, as odd as that message is. Let's get input from Spirit, because I think she wants you to enjoy your summer. It's your time. If this is something you have to deal with, then deal with it when the time comes, but don't let it ruin your summer. And this can be like a divorce, or signing divorce papers, or I don't know, putting your house on the market because you have to move and you really, it's something like that to me, where it's there is a piece of it that is going to hurt and bum you out, but it's also going to come with new beginnings. There's also going to be an exciting new start as well. And I want to throw that in because that's the Ace of Wands piece here. When you do this, there will be good that comes of it. There will be a fresh new start. And I think that is a huge positive. I think it's uplifting and exciting. But if you don't see that or feel that now, then almost don't do this until you know that you can be excited about that fresh new start that absolutely will be coming with this. Okay, so yeah, strange message. But okay, Six of Wands, this is input from Spirit. Great. Heart of Pentacles. This was also Spirit's input on two of these cards on the last reading, but I shuffle. Okay. Six of Wands, Heart of Pentacles, which is the King. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is the Queen of Pentacles. And the Movement of Pentacles is the Knight of Pentacles. So for me, there's a lot here about home. There's a lot about almost allow yourself to dig your heels in a little bit. If this is something, if you don't want to move yet, if you want to take your time, if you want to think on something, if you want to not feel rushed, there's a lot here about not rushing and taking your time and doing what feels right in the right amount of time. Very, very strong message here. And a lot about an actual physical location, a grounding of I don't know, maybe you don't have to move for a few more months. Maybe you don't have to put these wheels into motion that are going to cause you to feel disrupted or displaced. Something about that. I think for you, you just want to enjoy this summer because there's going to be change that comes after it. That there's, not only new seasons, but there are going to be fresh starts, and although they will be exciting and they will bring new, life and spirit, they are going to be hard. And I think to get to this point, you're going to have to deal with some stuff, some ick, some shit, whatever that is. But this is for you to take in at your own time. And again, maybe that's when the snow starts to fall. Maybe that's when we get some early sunsets. Maybe that's just not right now, and that's okay. And so right now you can focus on what makes you happy. And whether that's staying put and, like I said, digging your heels in. You don't have to do things that suit you and work for you right now. I think that's the most important thing. 6 of Wands, this is totally a card of like being recognized, being seen. I think like achievements, goals. And for you, I think this really it will feel good and it will feel right. And I just think in doing things your way right now, it's going to give you just the strength and the energy to handle whatever you need to handle when the time comes. But I really see this as like you're solid, you're good, you're strong. And if you're not ready to deal with something right now, then don't. And that's okay. And when the time comes, you'll deal with it and things will be fine. And someone might even thank you for waiting until you were able to do it like with a smile or with grace or whatever. I feel like there's a lot here about timing. And okay, well, I'm going to ask, what can you look forward to once you do this? Like what can you look forward to in general? What's coming up for you that you can look forward to? So we've got 3 of Wands. You know, sometimes. Okay, there we go. All right, 2 cards came up, so I'm going to take them both. 3 of Wands, the Moon, and Judgment. So I do think you can look forward to new, not just new adventures, because that's kind of cheesy, but the sun behind this card tells me like there is a new path. There is a new way. There's something again, with the Wands, when the time comes for you to take action and to have this new kind of, I don't want to say life, but this, oh my gosh, let me think of a way to describe this without saying new. You know, okay, so it's like when you move to a new town and let's say you don't want to move and then you get to that town and you're just totally motivated. There's all these things that are different, and because things are different, you start to do things differently and new and exciting things happen. And that's what I think is in store for you. Just this, you could never imagine what these new things are. You could never imagine how you're going to like them, but this change, there will be a change, an unforeseen change that will actually be very good and exciting for you. And I do think, this would be hard to see. This will be kind of shrouded in mystery or darkness right now because it's not your path right now. It's not your direction. You're not actually working on this right now, which I think is part of your sadness because you feel like you should be and you're not, and that's okay. You're going to address this when the time comes. But I really do think that when your time comes, you're going to, a big weight's going to be lifted, and I think things are going to start to click for you. And the Judgment card tells me like you're not going to be so heavy on yourself. You're not going to have that weight really will be lifted. And this reading to me is very, when I look at it laid out like this, it makes a lot of sense to me. And just like rehashing it, so many things are good in your world right now. There's like nothing going on with you right now that I would even want to change. If I had to pick something, I would say maybe you're overly emotional at times, but you know what, good for you for feeling those emotions. So it's okay if you cried at the bar with your friends, because you know what, good for you for doing that. Like you did it, you had to get it out. Like I just feel like you're feeling yourself, you're doing what you need to do, you're allowing yourself, whatever needs to be done, you're doing it in any way. And I like that. This line here does speak of some things you will have to deal with, something to do with heartbreak, something that hurts, something you don't want to deal with right now. And you know what? You don't have to. It's not the right time. You do not have to put your focus on this. You can pause your focus. You're staying strong. You're staying put. You're not rushing. There's just something very methodical about what you're doing. You actually are, people might think you're just like postponing or you're procrastinating, but you're not. You're actually really doing things you know when the right time is. And for some reason, you are taking your time and you're approaching things. Maybe it's against the advice of someone else or others, or it might be angering someone or frustrating them, but this is really it's your journey and you're doing it right. And this just speaks to like what's ahead for you. And it's confirmation that, this will pan out and it'll pass and it'll be good, and you'll get some relief out of it. So I'm going to turn over these two kind of fun cards about, like, I don't know, just a way to enjoy yourself this summer. So let's, whatever this is, spend time with animals. Great. Actually, that is a great way to enjoy yourself this summer. And energy work. So spend time with animals. This can be, I think, anything from like getting outside. This makes me think of camping. This makes me think of like hiking more. I don't know, just sitting on your deck and watching the birds or the squirrels. Like there's definitely this animal piece. Or maybe if you have pets that you haven't been giving enough time or attention to, maybe this is like a love on your dog a little bit card. So I like this card, and I hope it tracks for you. Energy work can mean so many different things. We've got the chakras here on this card, but I really think this is just listening to your mind and your body and really, really tuning into it. And I don't know, just taking care of yourself in a way that maybe you aren't used to doing or you've been putting off, but definitely like freeing your mind. And just, if you have, like I said, I feel like you have the resources up here, maybe treat yourself to a massage, have a spa day, swim in your pool if you have one, like just that kind of thing, like the things that once lifted you up and gave you energy and kind of inspired you, go back to those, because I think you could really enjoy those, and it'll help you just enjoy your summer. And I think a lot of this is like, get out, although this doesn't really say get out and enjoy your summer. This does to me, spend time with animals, but there is a piece here about like enjoying yourself. And I don't know, this could be jumping in the ocean, getting in touch with nature and your element. So I reached with this card, but that's okay. I hope this tracked. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, comments, like, subscribe, whatever feels good. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. Goodbye.